and the most informational session you're going to get is Todd taking us to school with the inside scoop right now.
I used to love these games, like, especially when you have a bad one and you're like, we don't even get to watch the film.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even get our grades. We just move on to Thursday night. Like, oh, that was used to be beautiful. But let's start off here with we got to talk about the good. We got to talk about the bad. And, that first passing play of the game, it wasn't very good, and it was a pick by Bo. It's tough because you look at the protection. He's getting good protection. It's a clean pocket. You get little Jordan Humphreys running the clear out, and he's bringing his guy with him. And so you're getting the coverage that you want. They're in cover 3. The safety's coming down. And this is exactly where you need to go with the ball. Like, he makes the right read. This safety's high. This guy's taken out of the picture. Like, this open piece of the field is exactly where he needs to go with the ball. But the problem is he just throws it too high and, tips and overthrows. We talk about it all the time on defense. That's how interceptions come. And unfortunately, this ball gets tipped up. This guy does a great job of tracking it and bringing it down. But it's tough because you want Bo to take these shots and see what he's seeing. Like, he's seeing what he needs to see. But he just wasn't as accurate as he needed to be on this play for it to be successful.
Yeah, well, that's the one play that they run in the passing game that actually works consistently.
They run it all the time.
Exactly.
Yep.
All the time. The clear out with a dagger behind it is like 80% of their offense.
Exactly.
And had a lot of success in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Yep. But usually they run it to Court, who happens to be about 7-8 inches taller. And so maybe that ball that's up there for Marvin, if it was Court, it works out. But yeah, I mean, this one, similar to the deep ball to Marvin, just put it out in front of him, let him run. He's fast. And I didn't think it was like the greatest route ever. But we're nitpicking.
Man, so, because I said this right after it happened, and I want to get your perspective, Todd. So the ball has to be thrown better, without a doubt. I'm not trying to put this on anyone else but Bo. He needs to throw the ball better. But I hate when receivers only go up to catch a pass with one hand. That's all Marvin did here, was try to catch it with one hand. And to me, like, why? All it's going to do is something bad is going to happen 99.9% of the time. Marvin's not making that one-handed catch. So when you put that one hand up, you're just tipping it up in the air. Again, Bo needs to make a better pass. But at that point, I'm just thinking, man, if you're only going to go up with one hand, knock the ball down or something. But essentially, go up with two hands and try to catch the ball. He only went up with one hand here, and I don't really like that.
It's tough because you're running so fast. So, I mean, you're trying to do something to get the ball to come down your way. And it's like, if you go with one hand, it's not good. If you go up with two, you don't have enough like body control to get back to make it. You don't go up with any, then maybe the safety just gets a pick because it's just thrown straight to him. Like, it's tough, man. I think it's all because of the accuracy of the ball that we have all these different like conversations. If the ball is put on target, I think he makes his catch and he keeps running. You talked about the Marvin Mims play. That's actually my next play here. It's tough because maybe last week is still in Bo's mind, like that throw to Troy Franklin where he puts it out, and it's a perfect throw. Like, and maybe he thinks if I took a little bit off of it, it would have been easier for Troy to make. And I really felt like Troy has to find a way to make that throw or make that catch in the end zone. And he kind of underthrows Marvin right here. He gets a good pocket. This is called a waggle, where it's like he kind of boots out, but he doesn't boot all the way out. He stays behind the line. So they got a really, really clean pocket for him right here. And they'll take the shot that they want to take. Like, this guy's beat. Like, if you're able to put this ball out here and let Marvin run underneath it, like, that's exactly what Sean Payton wants. And we talk about not having enough deep ball threats in Sean Payton's offense, but they're right here, and they're working out the way that they want them to. They just got to have a throw a little bit more on target, because unfortunately, I really feel like Marvin is faster than this guy. He had him beat by at least 2 or 3 yards. If you lead him, I don't think the guy touches him, and I think Marvin is in for 6, and it's a great play. And now it's 10-7, and we're in a more manageable ball game.
Do you think it's a lack of arm strength, or do you think he just underthrew that one for other reasons?
Yeah, I think he's thinking about it. Thinking about his throws. I mean, last week, I think the throw that he made last week was probably further. But now he's thinking like, okay, let me make it a more catchable ball. And instead, just you need to lead Marvin and let him go run under that and make that play.
And they're doing a really good job moving the pocket, so it isn't just a straight drop back. Yeah. But on this play, it's kind of weird because you have him kind of just roll out past the far hash and then go back across the field to Marvin. And it almost feels like that would just make the throw that much more complicated to have him kind of roll out, set his feet, and then go back across the other way.
The only thing I would say with this is that it's such a clean pocket and he has so much time. Like, by the time you get there, he takes 2 steps, like step, gather, throw.
Yeah.
You should be able to put together a good throw, at that point, even though you are like half rolling out.
You could have taken a step, and then thrown it.
Exactly. We talked about a little bad. Let's talk about some good stuff. This is a sack fumble. Man, sometimes you just need the ball to bounce your way. I feel like the Broncos defense did a pretty solid job in the red zone the entire day, even though the score was what it was. This is Zach Allen and Jonathan Cooper combining on the sack fumble. A little TNT stunt, which is like nose and tackle. TNT nose. All right.
I like that.
They're
dynamite. They're about to blow it up.
Exactly. He does a great job of picking the center. Zach Allen comes around. J.K. Dobbs comes out. He doesn't even try to block him, so it's not our fault. He just comes out, tries to run his route. Jonathan Cooper is rushing up the field, and they say anytime you get to the depth of the quarterback or behind the quarterback, you got to retrace, which means come back down towards the quarterback's depth. And he does a good job of Zach Allen squaring up Justin Herbert. And Jonathan Cooper comes and punches this ball out. And you see the ball's over here, so we think we have a good shot of of getting to it, but sometimes it just doesn't bounce your way, and Justin Herbert is able to recover it. But I think if we were able to get the ball right here, I think it really would have been a momentum changer for our offense and our defense.
I know, Todd, it's a great point, but this is 3rd down, so it was like, for a second, it was like, oh my gosh, they just got a huge turnover. But then it was still like, okay, what was it? 1st and goal from the 4 or 3, and then the Broncos are making them kick a field goal. And this, I thought, was like, if the game is ever going to turn in the Broncos' favor, the Broncos are going to get the ball and score here, because the defense kept it from being a 3-possession game to just a 2-possession game. And then, of course, the offense wasn't able to do anything, and then the defense allows a touchdown on the next drive after.
Yeah, the defense did a really good job in the red zone. The second touchdown that you mentioned was outside of the red zone, so it doesn't count against like their red zone, how good they were. But I think the entire day, I mean, they gave up 2 field goals, 3 field goals, and really held teams when they really were kind of put in some tough situations. So, the defense is still playing hard, man. Not their best day, but I think they were playing hard. All right, let's do it. Hank, you talked about it earlier. Like, this is one of their favorite concepts.
Yep.
The clear outs with the deep dagger behind it, and it's usually Cortland. This time it works. You're going to get these guys running deep across the field to clear out a lot of the trash in the interior of the field. You're going to get Cortland coming down on this deep dagger here. Chip and release. Check down just in case things get kind of crazy. Bo has outlets for the ball. So this one's tough. I mean, we get a rough penalty here that kind of negates this play. But if you talk about playmakers and guys that need to make big plays, like Cortland does a great job. We get in field goal range just by the catch, and then the run after the catch is what really sets him apart, and he's able to get vertical here, and it goes for 49 yards. It would have been one of the biggest plays of the season for Bo, and it would have been a great play. And you talk about Bo had 206 yards again. I mean, you add 49 to that, plus another 50 from Marvin Mims' catch. All of a sudden, Bo had a tremendous day, and the Broncos offense is rocking and rolling.
Wouldn't have been 20-0 at halftime.
And it wouldn't have been 20-0. And that's the toughest part about this play in particular is it gets negated because of a holding penalty, but we don't score before the half.
Yep.
So they scored, we don't score, and then they get the ball back at halftime. Like, this was a double whammy. We really needed this play right here. And, people have a lot to say about Cortland, where he ranks as far as wide receivers, but I feel like if he gets opportunities, I think he usually makes the most of it, and this would have been a great opportunity to, continue to get his stats up, but also help the team.
It have been a 100-yard day for Cortland as well, I believe, which the Broncos are still looking for their 100-yard receiver or a 100-yard rusher on the game. And, man, that one was just such a blow.
Yeah.
And it just feels like when the Broncos offense isn't clicking, it's doing things like this, where it's not just not moving the ball, it's hurting themselves and going backward after a big play.
Yeah, I hate that. You can't have that. If you want to be successful, you got to stay ahead of the chains, and when you get big plays, you can't have them negated by penalties. This is what Bo, I feel like, is doing really well right now. I think he's using his legs at a really, really high rate. 2nd and 5, the Broncos are trying to put together a score. You're going to get Bud Dupree coming off this edge, and, GB doesn't get the best of him, and I don't know how Bo escapes this, but, Bud Dupree is completely on his back paws and is taking him down.
He is.
And Bo Nix finds a way to get out of this. He gets out of it. He does a great job scrambling. He ends up scrambling and he's 20 yards deep at this point from the line of scrimmage, and he ends up scrambling and gets to the edge and gets the first down, and more. Kind of gives this guy a point towards the end, like, you can't catch me. I did like that when I saw it, but then I did look at the scoreboard and say it's 20-0. Probably shouldn't be pointing right now. Like, let's save that for when we're up. But nevertheless, I think what he's doing really well right now is using his legs and getting out of trouble when guys aren't open or if the O-line starts to break down.
And it's such an underrated part of his game that I still think Broncos country is getting used to, is he does have that extra step, literally when he's running, and the ability to break a sack from an outside linebacker was very impressive.
Yeah, it's very good. And the thing about it, like, he's definitely faster than you think because a lot of these guys have the angle on him. Like, when Zero was coming down here, he had the angle. And Bo, just like sometimes guys are fast enough that even if you have the angle on him, it's not going to work. And he's really showing that he has, more speed than people gave him credit for. So he's able to capture the edge there. All right, this was my favorite play from Bo the entire day. The pocket, it's pretty good, but he's able to step up in the pocket like he wants to do. And, with him stepping up in the pocket, he does a great job of not just tucking and running right here, but actually using his eyes to get to see downfield. And he's able to find Vele, nice little dump off pass to Vele because he's able to keep his eyes downfield and has a great feel for the pocket. This play ends up going for 27 yards and gets them down and later leads to a score. But I think it's a great job of him finding Vele getting open, them working together. And I think this is what Bo needs to do more of. It may take more, Patrick Mahomes type plays for him to be successful, stepping up in the pocket, using his legs, extending plays, and finding guys downfield. Because for the most part, when he starts scrambling, he usually ends the play scrambling.
Yeah, 100%. And then, Todd, can you go back one slide? What is a linebacker supposed to do here? Because Bo takes off going forward.
Yep.
So I imagine you're supposed to, he's the first threat, so you're supposed to bite up on that? Or what are those two guys supposed to do in this situation?
So it just depends on, like, whether that's my guy or whether we're in a zone. Like, it seems like this corner should be locked on Vele, so it should cause, the linebacker to step up and try to make a play on Bo. And then it just kind of puts him in no man's land. If Vele's able to get open, then there's nothing the linebacker can do. Yeah. You're not fast enough to get there to, stop me from throwing the ball. So easy over-the-top pass for 27 yards.
Yeah, and the point of that is just, like you said, Bo's ability to run puts so much pressure on a defense, not just by him getting first downs through his legs, but also pulling defenses up and confusing them.
Exactly. All right, that play leads to this next play. And this is a good job, again, of giving Cortland a chance, man. This is a double move right here by Cortland. And the ball's going to Cortland. You can look at everybody else on the field. It's kind of like a non-factor right now. Sometimes you have plays where this is going to Cortland and everybody else can kind of take a break. He runs a double move, and you probably shouldn't throw this ball because the corner is back at 8 yards. He doesn't bite at all. Like, he's not even in the screen when Cortland is breaking down. Like, probably shouldn't throw it, but when you have Cortland Sutton, just give him a chance, man. I think it comes down with the ball more often than not, and he does a great job of body on the body, and Bo gives him a chance, and that's all I want him to do with his receivers. Like, Cortland is covered, but sometimes you can throw a guy open. Or if you have a dynamic guy like Cortland, just give him a chance. Throw a ball that only Cortland can get to, and let's see what happens. And Cortland does a good job of creating a little bit of separation towards the end of this play and coming down with the football. And this was a huge shift in momentum. We go up 13 to 23. It really felt like we could find a way to get back in this game. And I think it was all because of him giving Cortland a chance, and I think he came up with the ball there. That's just what we need. We need more chances for our wide receivers.